Hello guys, welcome. We are going to continue on our surveying perspective tutorial. So we are going to look at a topic called tech trends in land surveying. So recently I was invited by the executives of the NISJ students of River State University to come and make a speech on this topic. So I felt I should also share it on surveying solutions so that we can learn a thing or two. So the topic we are looking at is tech trends in land surveying beyond boundary. So during the presentation, I try to let them understand that surveying has gone beyond land surveying, but the reason why I still had to attach it to today's presentation is for us to be able to elaborate more on that we are no longer just doing land surveying. So that should I call it an adjective before surveying should no longer be there. So it's either geoinformatics and surveying, or maybe surveying and geomatics, or maybe surveying engineering, right? Good. Now this is as a result of what the evolution, right? Good. So the new developments that have been attached to what we have been studying. So when most people are surveying, they think of boundary lines, pegs, and perhaps a tip or total station, or maybe a GNSS receiver, right? But let me ask you a question. What if I told you that surveying today is closer to data science, satellite systems, and predictive modeling than just boundary demarcation? So the essence of this topic was to evoke the, should I call it, the thought pattern, or maybe the enthusiasm of the students, so that they can understand that surveying is just beyond what they see most surveyors or some surveyors do by using maybe total station or your tape, or maybe the lines, that's the boundary lines, showing the boundary lines and the pegs, right? Good. So we are intertwined, we are interrelated, right? Good, with data science, satellite systems, and predictive modeling. So it's just beyond the boundary demarcation. Now in 2018, as a student, although I'm still a student, I gave presentation in school, and the topic I chose was beyond boundary. So we are called, okay, I think one of these should I call it external courses, that we should come and make a presentation on any topic we want, but it should kind of be related to surveying. So then I chose beyond boundary, not because boundaries are not important, they are actually fundamental, but because I could see that surveying was bigger than what we were limiting it to. Right, good. Then I was seeing cadastral surveying, or now I'm still seeing cadastral surveying, as like the easiest part, right? Good, although very lucrative. Today, years later, the idea is no longer a perspective, it is the reality of our profession. Surveying is not just about measuring land, it is about understanding space, analyzing change, and then supporting decision making, right? Good. So if all you see is boundary, you'll be left behind by the profession you think you understand. Boundaries are important, cadastral survey is very, very important, but it is only one expression of what surveying truly is. Today, surveying is more of what a data-driven discipline or a data-driven profession, right? Good. So let us look at the profession. Let us look at where the profession is going and where we must begin to position ourselves. First of all, we can look at geospatial intelligence through GIS and remote sensing. We are no longer just collecting data, we are analyzing patterns. With satellite imagery and GIS, you can monitor land use and land cover changes, track environmental transformations, and analyze urban expansion. It is not outside of our scope. When you see people do land use, land cover, when you see people do flood monitoring and all of that, so it is inside of what we are doing in the geomatics that we are now studying in school, right? Good. So more importantly, you can begin to predict what will happen next, right? So surveying is no longer just about where what is or where things are. It is about why they are there and what they will become later in the future, right? Good. So this is one of the tech trends that we have in land surveying. Just remove the land, we have in surveying, right? Good. Now secondly, we are looking at automation and smart data collection. So I also told them that technology has transformed how we work, recording via the screen, using video call. These are so many everyday technologies that we use, right? Now the profession is not left behind. GNSS provides real-time positioning. The last time you book boat, right, those ride-hailing services, you turn on your location, you open the app, you tell it where you are. Definitely the app will locate where you are, you tell it where you're going to, you see a fleet of cars that are around you, or maybe they are trying to drop some passengers and the rest of that. So the applications are embedded in what? Understanding GNSS technology in real-time positioning. Right, good. Now, you and I as surveyors can have very tremendous inputs in that technology, right? Good. So UAVs or drones capture high resolution spatial data. What would have taken you 2 days or thereabout to take a GNSS receiver to start moving around the school. I remember some months ago, one of my senior colleague and I, we went out and then we flew over a school, right? Good. And now the whole flight, I'm not talking about the preparation when we got there and the rest of that. So the whole flight, I'm not sure if it took us up to 2 hours. Because of changing of batteries and the rest of that. But if it were the conventional survey method where the best you could have done is to go out with a GNSS receiver, maybe you have different survey crews, you'll be cutting some lines, you'll be meeting some obstructions and the rest of that. But with the UAV or the drone, we flew over the school. The only obstructions we're having are some birds that are flying around and maybe some aircrafts that were also flying along what our flight area or the path we were flying. However, it has given us a very high resolution spatial data of that school. So mobile mapping system allow us to collect data faster and more efficiently. So if you don't want to go out with your GNSS receiver and you have a very good quality mobile mapping system on your phone, definitely you can also collect your data. So what used to take days can now take hours, and even with what? Greater accuracy. So technology does not replace the surveyor. No, it cannot replace me. It, however, upgrades how I work. All right, good. So these are, or let's say this is the second tech trend that I discussed with them. Now, the third one was data-driven surveying. Now, the future surveyor is not just a field person, but a data analyst. There used to be that, okay, we are bushmen, but I don't usually concern myself when they say those stuff. So I'm not a bushman, I'm a surveyor. So now you just go to sites, bring the data, give it to other professionals to process and get results. No, you have your AutoCAD, Civil 3D, you have your GIS softwares, QGIS, you have your remote sensing softwares, NV, and your hydrographic surveyors, IPAC, softwares rather, IPAC, and so when you have been able to acquire that data, and you also have some word processing softwares like Excel, and then also some programming softwares like Python, MATLAB, and the rest of that, which we are being taught and which we are being encouraged to also learn. Right, good. So when you acquire your data, you no longer send it to someone else to process, in as much as you have been able to equip yourself with what? The technology, right? Good, that will help you to process the data. So it's no longer just acquiring the data, it's being able to analyze the data, also do some predictive modeling that will now inform decision support. Right, good. So spatial analysis, predictive modeling, and decision support systems are becoming central to what we do. So if you can collect data but cannot interpret it, you are only doing half of the job, and half of the job is not the job done. Right, good. Then we also talked about integration with emerging technologies. Surveying is now connected to AI, digital twins, and smart cities. This means surveyors are no longer operating at the edge of projects. We are moving to the center of decision making, right? So there was a conference we attended in school, and one of the presenters made mention of the smart cities and all of that, how somebody can be in Nigeria or maybe be in the US and control whatever is happening in their apartment in Nigeria and the rest of that. So all of these emerging technologies, we play a role. Digital twins, trying to build a system that replicates what is actually in real life, right? Smart cities using sensors and all of that to send signals real time so that you can be able to model and see what is happening in a particular place. So artificial intelligence, almost everybody is hearing about it. AI, integrating AI to whatever you are doing. So all of these are emerging technologies that we surveyors can key into, or are supposed to key into, that takes us beyond boundary. Now let me return to that idea of beyond boundary. When I spoke about it in 2018, it wasn't because I had seen everything. No, very young in the profession, although I'm still very young, it was because I was curious enough to question limits. That curiosity pushed me into GIS, remote sensing, and data analysis. It made me see surveying not just as a course, but as a platform. So your advantage as a U1 student or a young professional, maybe fresh graduate, or maybe a professional who wants to learn, new stuff and the rest of that, is the awareness, right? Good. There are so much information that we have on the internet or in today's world. So you have the opportunity to decide early whether you want to be traditional or you want to be transformational. So let me be practical with you. You do not wait for school to define your exposure. You start learning tools early. Start learning GIS, maybe using QGIS, spatial data analysis, combining your field knowledge with what technical skills. Focus on understanding, not just memorization, right? Your CGPA can open doors, but your skill depth is what keeps the door open, right? So graduating with a very good result is what I advocate for. However, having graduated with that result, you should be able to be sellable. You should be able to add value to wherever you find yourself. Many students graduate knowing only what they were taught in class. That's pathetic. But the profession does not reward what you were taught. It rewards what you can do, the value you can add to the surveying firm, that's generally, or to all other firms that you are now going to apply your survey knowledge or your GIS knowledge or maybe your geospatial knowledge to, right? Good. So the difference between an average graduate and an exceptional one is not just intelligence, it is awareness and initiative. Right, good. So surveying is evolving. The question is not whether the profession will change. The question is whether you will change with it. Right, good. Because the evolution is there. You need to just fall in line and then keep evolving. So in 2018, I said beyond boundary as a belief. Today, I say it as a fact. Something I can beat my chest to say always, that surveying is actually beyond boundary. So do not just study surveying, understand it, expand it, and most importantly, take it beyond boundary. Because the future of surveying is not confined to the lines on the ground. It is defined by how far you and I are willing to see beyond them. So thank you for listening. I believe we have been able to look at these few tech trends that are now in surveying, or maybe land surveying, or surveying and geoinformatics, or surveying and geomatics, or surveying engineering, right? Good. So if you have any contributions, comments, you can leave it on the comment section and we'll attend to them as soon as possible. So we'll see you again. Until then, keep staying safe and have a fantastic time. Bye.